How did the British Raj affect the Indian education system? If you're curious about how the British Raj impacted the education system in India, you're about to uncover some fascinating and sometimes troubling facts. Let's explore this together. When the British took control of India, they introduced a new education system that was vastly different from what existed before. One of the key changes was the emphasis on English education. The British believed that teaching English would help spread their culture, values, and governance in India. This led to the establishment of English medium schools and colleges, which were often reserved for the elite or privileged classes. Lord Macaulay's Minute on Education in 1835 was a significant turning point. Macaulay argued for the promotion of English education and the decline of traditional Indian languages and knowledge systems. This policy led to the neglect of vernacular languages and indigenous educational traditions, such as gurukuls and madrasas, which were marginalized or suppressed in favor of the British model. The British also established universities in major cities like Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras in the mid-19th century. These universities followed a Western curriculum, focusing on subjects like English literature, science, and mathematics, while neglecting traditional Indian subjects like philosophy, literature, and arts. The education system created a hierarchy of opportunities. While some Indians, mainly from the upper castes and the elite, had access to quality English education, the majority of the population had limited access. This created a stark divide in educational opportunities and access. Despite the many shortcomings, the British education system did play a role in social and political reform movements in India. It helped in the emergence of nationalist leaders and movements, such as the Swadeshi movement, which emphasized the use of domestic products and stimulated indigenous enterprise. The movement also led to increased demands for national education and the founding of indigenous educational institutions. However, the British underfunded Indian education significantly. Public spending on education was among the lowest in the world between 1860 and 1912. The government spent only about 4% of its budget on human capital, which was for less than in other British colonies. The British education policy also had a lasting impact on the Indian economy and society. It created a class of people who were educated in Western ways but often disconnected from their own cultural heritage. This led to a complex mix of Western and Indian influences in education, which continues to shape India's educational landscape today. In summary, the British Raj's impact on the Indian education system was multifaceted, introducing English education, establishing Western-style universities, and creating a divide in educational access. While it contributed to social and political reforms, it also underfunded education and marginalized traditional Indian knowledge systems.